Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in to another YouTube video of the Polycyclist. This video is kind of short, not really. I gotta kind of have to learn how to not make really long videos because, yeah, YouTube analytics show me that. I don't really have subscribers, so hopefully you guys enjoy this video and hopefully you do actually make it to the full 30. I'm gonna try to be as entertaining as I can, but there's only so much that I can do in about 30 minutes, so we'll see how it goes, right? But for starters, again, thank you so much for joining the channel. If you haven't noticed, I usually just try to make these fun videos just for the heck of it, really. I don't have any plans or anything like that. But like I said, I'm happy that you guys are just joining in. So in this video, I kind of want to bring up a couple things here and there. Right now, I'm actually cycling around my hometown of El Paso, Texas. And this is what I was trying to do, was to ride a century. I'm actually leaving for grad school in about a month or so. And this is my attempt at basically going around the city and clocking in 100 miles. It didn't really go that well, but I did 80 for this mile, not for this mile. I did 80 miles for this video. So I now know that I need to add about 20 miles to the route, and I know how to do that. But it's just like a matter of how to properly do it where I don't have to necessarily inconvenience myself to like a really long detour or anything like that. So that's it. So right now what we're looking at is me leaving my home. I'm on a bike lane here. As you can see, it's I actually left like around 4:45 a.m. Pretty early because I wanted to just start early and then finish early. But this is one of those videos where it's just like, well, let's see how it goes, right? So it's pretty dark. Just a full disclaimer, I am no pro cyclist. I really am not. I don't pertain to be one, but I am an avid cyclist. I've only done one race, and we didn't even do too well in that race. We were just having fun. But in the end, it was still pretty fun. So I try to average about 150 miles per week on my bike, whether that be training, just like a workout. I usually do this route, actually not this specific route, but I'm on this road specifically, and it takes me about an hour to go up and down and then back to my house. And I'll link the Strava routes or the map on the description, so you guys can see exactly what I did and where I was going at. But between riding just recreationally to also riding in terms of going to work, going to school, and just doing things on my bike, that's what I like to do rather than just use my car. I'll use my car for specific things, but other than that, I'm 90% on my bike. So I clock in a lot of miles during the week, 50 on a lazy week, but usually clock in around 100 to 150. But like I said, it was definitely one of those situations where I still don't consider myself a pro, because I really am not. I can average 15 miles an hour, and you'll see sometimes on my Wahoo computer, you'll definitely see, for example, 5 miles an hour to 10 miles an hour, and then 15, 20 miles an hour. I think I clocked in my top speed at around 30 miles, I think, and that was me going downhill. But no, this was definitely one of those situations where I was just biking, and I just kept going, I guess. So what are we looking at right now? So right now we're in one of the major streets that's called Yarborough Street. This street in particular has a really kind of a pretty good bike lane, and my battery died there, so that's red flag number one. And I'll explain that throughout the video, but I definitely had a lot of red flags for this ride, just because how not unprepared, but more of the, well, if I could have charged my light the day before, etc. So stuff like that. So I kind of just skipped over a lot of kind of like maybe between 15 to 20 miles, just because it was too dark. Like my light was off, and so you couldn't really see anything. But at this point, I think it's about 6 a.m. already here at this particular kind of shot. And it's, so El Paso is kind of distinctive because the city, one can look at it as a giant V. It goes from the west to the east. But right in the middle, smacked in the middle, there's kind of like an enclave or like a dig, and that's Fort Bliss, the local military base. And so right here, we're actually biking alongside 375. That's what the highway's called. It's just an access highway, and this highway basically goes through like the middle section of Fort Bliss, that mostly military people go through there. As you can see, it not that bad of a ride, because I am one of those considered cyclists that really does venture into like streets, like I'm not scared, I'm not inconsiderate either. Like I definitely know my road etiquette. Like I don't run red lights, and actually there's some red lights that you'll see later down that I do run, but for the most part I always respect it. If I'm like at a red light, stoplight, I will stop. But for the most part, as you can see, this trail, or I guess this road, it's really a nice stretch because it connects basically the east side, or like the far east, to the northeast of the city. And this is kind of nice because it not only does it add more miles to if someone wants to bike that, but it really does showcase what one can do with this mileage. I think if one wants to cycle from one side of town to the other, and if they take this route, I think it's only an hour compared to like having to go through the actual city, which will more than likely add about half an hour, like an hour and a half. But as you can see, it does have a wide shoulder. Basically, the bike lane is considered like the shoulder of the road, of the highway, which isn't too bad, and I don't complain about it, but it definitely could have some better protection. And as you can see, cars are going really fast. It's 65 miles an hour, the limit, but of course people go 75, 85. It is Texas after all, so people are going fast. I'm not necessarily saying that I am scared of it, but you will never see your average cyclist in this lane, mainly because of that. Cars are just going too fast, and they are. And I don't necessarily believe that road users are particularly, oh, I'm gonna go kill that cyclist, but it is a nuisance. So once we exit 375, I take a right turn into this street. It's called Macomb Street. Macomb. I digress. But it's a really nice bike lane. So what you'll notice in this video is that I try to stay on bike lanes for the most part. Either bike lane that is like this one, which is a really nice, because even though it's not really protected, it does have a considerable buffer line between me and the road, and then like the actual cars that take the lane. It does end because when you have to turn right, and then the bike lane still goes through, but it actually ends here, and I'm like trying to reach the other side before it turns red, and I didn't make it, but I was already there, so it didn't really matter. But no, as like I was saying, I definitely really do enjoy cycling, and this route basically goes through through all of El Paso, showcasing basically the most extreme points one can do. I just took a little right here turn because I wanted to stop at this park. This park right here in particular, never been to it, but it's really nice, really green. And as you guys know, Texas is in the Southwest. So, well, not Texas itself, but El Paso in particular, it's in the Southwest. So you definitely have, I'm a desert rat for sure. But I mean, who isn't really, right? So, um, one of the things that I definitely do enjoy about this is that I'm, for the most part, like I said, in a cycling lane. At this point, I'm already leaving kind of like the El Paso region. I'm going up to a small little New Mexico town called Chaparral, New Mexico. I am actually passing state lines at some point. And you'll see up where kind of like the traffic stuffs, they're like changed, and like the traffic symbols are changed from Texas to New Mexico. I don't have a sign, it doesn't show a sign, but I'm already technically going into Chaparral territory. So this is a little village. It's just a small little village. A lot of people that live in Chaparral do consider themselves El Pasoans. But, of course, they live out here. So as you can see, I wasn't necessarily in a cycling lane. There actually is a cycling lane that goes into Chaparral, but that's a busier road than what this one was. And so I figured, like, I'll take my chances. I'll just take the route that the street that has less cars and okay shoulder. But as you can see, that's about maybe a foot of shoulder that I have to work with. I mean, for the most part, cars are still okay. That car just went all the way to the left side of the lane instead of like being directly right on the, right next to me. So I appreciate that. I appreciate about motorists. But that's my thing. I believe motorists don't necessarily go out of their way to make it hostile for a cyclist, but it definitely does have boundaries. Like here, you'll see a couple cars do pass me quite close, and I actually skip a lot of coverage because it's just like that for maybe I think 10 miles, give or take. Once we're heading here, I like that type of motorist that goes out of the way to just go basically on the other side of the lane to avoid me, And don't get me wrong, I'm not in the middle of the road. As you can see, I'm as far as I can get because that other part is just gravel and my tires aren't really thick enough or wide enough to ride on gravel. I mean, I can, but it's kind of a challenge, But I enjoy motorists like this. So now we're gonna hit up. This is called the street that we were in is called Lisa Lane. But then right here, I'm gonna take a right a little bit more up, and I don't think I showed in the video, but I take a right here, and at that point, it's me going. It's kind of like the Trans Mountain section between Chaparral, New Mexico, and Anthony, New Mexico. Right here, I'm actually going down because it was a struggle. I'm not gonna lie. Like these vehicles, like I said, even though I have a wide shoulder, and this is technically a bike lane, by the way. There's bike symbols on it, and they even have like a little mile marker for cyclists. But like I was saying, I enjoy that car drivers and commuters and stuff. They go out of their way to just basically go all the way as far as they can while I'm in this lane. Even though this lane is so huge, they go around. And I've never had that problem within El Paso. I think this is kind of true with most people. They're always saying, my hometown drivers suck, or they don't know how to drive. And I don't think that happens from El Paso. I've never faced any type of aggressive driving before, which I really do enjoy. Yes, it's not particularly because I'm pretty sure they respect me because, it's a fellow cyclist, right? But I think it's just because of the culture of the welcomeness and the warmness of the El Paso residents, and the New Mexico residents too, don't get me wrong, that bring out the best out of all of us. So I really do enjoy that these motorists have given me a lot of space, especially because I'm going like 50 miles an hour compared to theirs, which is like 70, 80 miles. So right now we're going down this slope. It's really nice. As you can see, I'm going about 15 miles an hour, give or take. I I am not a fast cyclist. At this point, I think I'm already 4 hours into the ride, and I'm pretty exhausted. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty tired. It's getting there. The fatigue is getting there. And that's red flag number 2. And I kind of wanted to show that. So before this ride, I did not prepare whatsoever. I did not prepare myself to get in the, I guess, like the mindset of doing more than 20 miles, 40 miles. Like, this is a pretty large distance, right? Not a lot of people do 80 miles a day on their bike. But for me, red flag number 1, before this, I didn't necessarily train. I did not train to, I'm gonna be riding 100 miles today, what I did tell myself was like, okay, I'll sleep early tonight so that I can leave early tomorrow, and then that way I can go ahead and get on the road. But I was extremely tired. I actually did not go to bed the night before until about so I was in bed already by 8, right? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sleep, wake up like at 3:30 in the morning, and then get out that door by 4 and then start my ride. That didn't happen. I actually woke up like at 4:45, didn't leave the house until 5, and then that's when I was like droopy. I was pretty tired. Like I said, I did not train whatsoever to do this ride. Like before then, I was in Fort Worth helping my brother out, and I only rode maybe like 20 miles the whole trip, the whole week. And I was drinking a lot of Coke. Yes, I know that's a really bad sign, right? But I like Coca-Cola, what can I say? So I did that, and so I wasn't really, one could say, quote unquote, physically trained for this ride. And I wasn't, like, I'm not gonna lie, I really was not. I was not ready for this ride in terms of preparation. I did have enough water and I did bring enough calories, but like I said, I did not eat very well the night before, and I did not eat breakfast at this ride, and I did not necessarily have like a plan for me to, oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this at the certain mile limit. I would just kind of just rest for like maybe 5-10 minutes every maybe 15 miles, and then I would continue on, right? So that was red flag number 2. I did not prepare. So I did bonk on this ride. As soon as I got home, I was just exhausted. I was tired. I could not breathe. My lungs were sore, and I could only breathe through my nose, basically. I actually did not hit that part until maybe towards the last hour of the ride, but it was still a rough one, you know how it gets, and it can get pretty rough. So at this point, that was red flag number 2, not preparing myself. It was just hard, and it's something that I definitely will change the next time I actually do my century. But at this point, it's just like, well, you learn from these lessons, right? I think I did a little bit less for my body because of this experience rather than improve, right? So after this, after passing that construction bridge that they're doing right now, we're already into Anthony, New Mexico. It's kind of like another corner of like the ride. You can kind of imagine this ride as like a giant rectangle, it's not necessarily a rectangle, but it goes from one corner to the other, down to another corner, and then back to my house. So at this point, it's a really nice little bike / walkway, pedestrian wise. That's what I absolutely love about New Mexico, is that you talk trash, say stuff about New Mexico, but one thing's for certain, they do enjoy having people out instead of home all day. So at this point, we're already in New Mexico, and you'll actually see the sign. This is technically like another state boundary line. I think once I pass this railroad, I'm technically in New Mexico already, or maybe like a couple meters in, I'm still in Mexico, something like that. But you'll definitely see the sign up the road where it showcases, oh, welcome to New Mexico, the lands of enchantment. And I swear, I think when I come back from grad school and I finish schooling, I definitely want to move back to New Mexico because I did my undergrad here, and I absolutely just love this state just because of the way that it handles. I think New Mexico is like 90% public land, so a lot of biking, a lot of exploring to do. And as you can see, the sign is right there. So now we're in New Mexico. We're in Anthony, New Mexico. We're gonna head up a little bit later down the road. I'll be taking a left, and this is called the Rio Grande, or the Rio Grande Valley trail system. This trail system is absolutely massive. So I don't think I've ever mentioned this on the channel before, but this is basically a kind of like a El Paso County's attempt at doing something like what, if you've ever been to Tucson, Arizona, they have the Century Loop. And the Century Loop, basically what it is, it's like this giant loop where you can bike around Tucson, Arizona, and you hit 100 miles. But it basically goes around around the city. So it's a really nice route, really scenic. And I think El Paso County is trying to do that, something like that similarly. But of course, it doesn't loop around the city, but it actually goes from one side of the city to the other, or the county. In this case, it starts in Anthony, New Mexico. Anthony, Texas. And this is one of the things that kind of like showcases that it's really well done and prepared, but it does take a long time because of all the kind of like the red lines and the little political stuff that they need to pass through. Even though it's a trail for the people, for some reason it's just a hard topic, right? So right here, we're gonna go ahead and enter that trail. As you can see, I was kind of on gravel road for maybe a mile or so, and then I make it to the cement. So this is the trail. This is the actual trail. The trail itself, I believe it's about 10 miles, 10 to 15 miles, a pure, just blissful trail like this. And I mean, it's amazing. Like, you see like the river right next to you when it's like with water. It's not dried out when it's monsoon season. And it just goes all the way through. I'm so sorry. I'm still recording. I think I've been recording nonstop. So I'm kind of tired. But regardless, this trail is amazing. I always recommend people who are traveling the Southern Tier Trail, if they're leaving El Paso, to take this route. Even though it goes through like that little gravel section, it's totally worth it because you're away from cars, you're away from danger. The only other people that are on this is the other cyclists and runners and walkers and recreational activities. So it's really nice. It's a really nice place to just get out of town. So in this route, as you can see, just me and the road. Just me and the road. Or I guess the trail. It's really green because of monsoon season right now. Usually is yellow and dead, but it's monsoon season. So at this point, I think I'm already at mile 65, I believe. So with this in mind, we're gonna go ahead and exit. So imagine the last clips, but miles and miles of it. And I believe the main objective for the city and the county is to be able to expand that route all the way to the end to Fort Hancock, where the county ends, I believe. That way it's just for people to be able to bike and see. And I think it's going to be an amazing take for the cycling community, especially for bike tours and bike adventurers, because that's for them, it's made for them. At this point, I'm already here again on another shoulder. I kind of make the mistake of not going onto the left side, because on the left side they actually do have a dedicated, I guess, cycling lane / recreational lane. It's not necessarily like a bike lane, like it's like this one, but all the way back. So I kind of missed that I didn't go it that way, but I still managed to be on that route for maybe the past 30 minutes. At this point, we're in Sunland Park, New Mexico. Sunland Park is, again, another small village. I think I might be already 70 miles into the right here. No, maybe 65 still. I don't know. I kind of forgot. But I do for sure know that once I hit downtown, I think I hit my 75-mile mark. Right here, we're just going to go ahead, take a left, and then it's going to pop straight into this newly made bike path / running path. So remember 375 that I was telling you earlier? Well, guess what? It goes all the way around over here. It's on my left, it's on my right here actually, as you can see. That highway, it is a paid project. No one has ever paid the toll, and I don't think they'll ever bring the toll, to be honest. It's a really nice way to go from one end of the city to the other if you don't want to stop at like restaurants or like food or gas. This is a really nice highway to do it. But the city planners are like, yeah, let's put a bike lane here. And I am so happy that they did this, because not only one, is it a safe way to get from, I guess, downtown El Paso to the west side, but two, because it's so well made. You know, it's one of those lanes where it's just like, it just makes sense. It makes sense. Because if the city planners did not make this, for example, the only real way to go from the downtown area of El Paso to the west side is going through Mesa Street. Mesa Street is like a major street, I guess. And if you like have a American Cycling Association map, like the southern tier, there's a section in El Paso where it says take this road, and absolutely do not take it because it's so heavy with traffic. I hate it. I hate going through that street. Even driving, I hate it, but it's a major street. And it's really one of the only, besides the highway, one of the only ways to get to the other side. But as a cyclist, you're like, well, I don't want to go through like cars. I don't want to go through like traffic. So you take this route. And this is like the bike lane that absolutely changed it. I use it all the time now, you know, when I want to go to the west side. So it's really nice. It's really nice. It's kind of like the 375 on the west side. Well, it technically is. It does go through. So as you can see, really nice bike pathway away from the cars, away from the action, all safe. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead and just change up a little bit more of the tone. I want to ask people what they believe in terms of cycling safety. Do you really think that having protected bike lanes really does make a difference for people to actually start biking? In a personal way, I do believe so. You know, if someone was, for example, biking from the west side to downtown, they'd be like, well, heck no, I don't want to go through Mesa Street. That's a dangerous street. Other streets are not direct, and so you have to like swerve in and out, or I guess go in and out. So that sucks. That's what sucks about this. But if you have a bike lane like this, I'm pretty sure it incentivizes a lot of people to be able to just enjoy it. But I digress. I'm sorry. I hope that was like something that you do. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead and continue to go forward. Quick little thing. This is actually an old trail that the early settlers in North America would use, mainly because it was right next to the river. But this is actually considered a trail. I forgot the name of it, and I'm so sorry I did. I should probably prepare for that, right? The Doña Ana Trail, I believe that's what they're called. Right here I had to get off because the trail just basically disappears because of the rain and sand. But I get off here, and we're gonna see an amazing part because I like this because I get to bike right next to the border wall. Nothing exciting. It's not even a wall. What do you call that? A fence? Maybe? I don't know. Possibly. But it is what it is, I guess. Fun fact, when that patrol that you just saw maybe 5 seconds ago, when they left, on my right, I could see people just booking for it. I think they crossed over, but then they got caught, I think maybe 5 minutes later. At this point, we're gonna go up 375. 375 has a nice little pedestrian bridge here. I mean, obviously, if everything was closed, it'd be nicer, right? But no, this is a nice little addition. It's protected. People can go through it. People can go out. It's really nice. It's a nice little area that you get to bike, and that shows that, oh, he likes to bike. Once I make it onto this little area, we're gonna take a left once passing those lights. Fun fact, I met my girlfriend at UTEP. well, at the time of this recording, I don't even think we're dating anymore. Maybe you're seeing this video 20 years from now. I don't have a girlfriend. Maybe I have a wife. Maybe I'm single. I digress. But as you can see, it's a really nice little pedestrian access road, ramp, I guess, sidewalk. I don't know what to call these. But as you can see, really nice. Adventure cyclist, I hope you're watching this video because this is one of the routes that can take you from downtown El Paso all the way to the west into Las Cruces area, etc. So we just made it into the parking lot. UTEP, University of Texas at El Paso, is on my left. As you can see, nothing. It's summer school. I mean, it's the summer. There's not a lot of people in school right now. So, just summer people that are enjoying their summer at school, which I don't know why would you do that, but I did that, so I think I know why. Why would people do that, right? We're gonna go up here. It's a struggle. I'm not gonna lie. It really is a struggle here, just because I'm already, I think, 6 hours into the ride, and I'm just so exhausted. I'm exhausted with my legs. I'm exhausted with my breathing. I'm exhausted with my eyes. My eyes are just absolutely killing me at this point. They're saying, you're great, blah, 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 whatever, but we gotta stop this ride. That's what I felt like what my legs were saying. But yeah, so at this point, we leave the UTEP area and we go into Prospect Street. Prospect Street is a really nice, just overall regular bike lane. One thing, as you can see, they put the bike lane on the left side instead of the right, where they could have used the cars as protection for, cyclists. But a bike lane is better than no bike lane, right? I don't like that a lot. I do not like to admit that we need to have small sacrifices for a safer community, Why would you do that? Why would you compromise? I don't know. That's me. I digress. But make sure, please let me know in the comment section below if you made it this far in the video. I know it's this really long video. I'm sorry. I tried to condense it. I condensed, I think, maybe 3 hours of footage into 30 minutes, basically 10 minutes each of every hour that I was recording. As you can see here, we're making it into downtown El Paso, the heart of El Paso. But if you made it this far, first of all, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that you, or, if you're just asleep or something, it gets you because I'm really happy. Please comment down in the section below telling me your biggest features. Hey, Carlos, that's my name actually, the polycyclist Carlos, right? You don't have to ride 80 miles to say I explore the city, or 100 or 200 or 300, You could just say, the polycyclist, I biked 5 miles and that was the longest I've ever biked and I felt great and I did this. Please share those experiences with me. A little plug in here. As you can see, if you pause the video, we actually passed the trail that I was on. My right lane, it's the SouthWest Community Ballpark. That's where the El Paso Locomotives, the UCLA football team, plays, as well as the El Paso Chihuahuas, which plays minor league baseball. Or not minor league, but like double A, whatever is like below MLB. We're in downtown El Paso. Woo, we made it. We're about an hour away from my home, and I tell myself, yeah, buddy. I actually stopped downtown so I can eat and have a little break. But the last hour was the most crucial one. This was the pinnacle of, okay, I'm almost made it. I'm almost done. I'm almost there. It was hard. At this point, I think the temperature is about 100 already. I'm still in the bike lane, as you can see, trying my best just to get home. And I do make it home. I do actually end up making it home. Believe it or not, if I'm not, I would never record this. We're going to make it into this little area called the Playa Drain Trail. The Playa Drain Trail, it's another I think kind of, one could consider it part of the Rio Bosque or Rio Grande Trail, but in like the community of El Paso. They're still planning on expanding more sections of this trail. Right now, they're almost done with maybe a 2 mile section further down the line. You won't see it, I'm sorry, because the video ends actually. But this trail, it's a really nice, like I said, I always refer people to use this trail because it's safe. There's no cars, and it's just you and the pavement enjoying at your own pace. So thank you so much, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.